Hey guys, hello and welcome to Naveed for Speed. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you around this car right here. It's the BYD Dolphin Surf. It's new, it's fresh, it's exciting. And BYD have already produced over 1 million units of this car in China. In some markets around the world, it's called the Seagull. In some markets, it's called the BYD Dolphin Mini. Here in the UK, it's called the BYD Dolphin Surf. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you around the exterior of the car. I'm going to be showing you around the interior of the car. I'm going to be talking about the different trim levels that you get, the different battery sizes, and some of the features that you get in those different trim levels. Because BYD as a brand, generally, they have the same level of equipment throughout each of the trim levels. It's only different size batteries and different power motor. But for this particular car, in some of the higher specs, you do get some extra features. So I'll be talking about some of those features as well. Now, I've been given this car by DM Keith for me to go out and test drive and let you guys know about some of the features of this car, so that if you're thinking about going out on a test drive, if you're considering buying this car, then before you go to the dealership, you are armed with the knowledge of what to look out for and what you can expect when you're going to drive this car. And if you've already been to the dealership and you still can't decide, then this could also be a good video for you to show you some of the features of what you can expect with this car if you were to buy and own this car. Now, I must stress that DM Keith have not paid me any money for this video, so all of the opinions in this video, all of the insights, everything that I like about this car, everything that I say that I don't like about this car are purely my own opinion. I've not been paid any money whatsoever by DM Keith, and I must also stress that I've not been paid any money by BYD either. So everything here is 100% my own opinion. So let's start by talking about the different trim levels that you get. So there's three different versions of the car. You can get the Active, the Boost, or the Comfort. Now, easy way to remember that is A, B, C, Active, Boost, Comfort. Now, in the entry-level Active version, you get a 30 kilowatt-hour battery and you get a 65 kilowatt-hour motor. Now, 0 to 60 miles an hour or 0 to 62 miles per hour is around 11 seconds for that car, and you can get about 137 miles of range. Then if you go one step higher, now you get the larger 43.2 kilowatt-hour battery, but you still get the same motor, and that can give you about a range of around 200 miles. That is, out of the three different versions, it gives you the most range. 0 to 62 miles per hour comes in around 12 seconds for that one, so it's the slowest to 60. Now, when it comes to the top level, the Comfort version, now you get the larger battery, the 43.2 kilowatt hour battery, but you also get a more powerful motor. It's 115 kilowatts. Now, within this class of car, that is the most powerful motor that you can get when we compare it to cars like the Renault 5 or the Hyundai Insta. That can give you a range of 193 miles. So it's only 7 miles less than the mid-level Boost version of the car. And I'll talk a little bit about the prices of this car later in this video. But the car that I have here is that Comfort version. It's the top spec. It's got all the extras on it. And I'll show you around the exterior to begin with, but to start with, I'm going to show you this paint, because this paint is an optional extra. If you were to go for the standard paint, it's the lime green paint that you might have seen pictures of everywhere, but this particular paint is Polar Night Black, and I think this is a pretty safe bet if you're going to buy this car, and there'll probably be a lot of BYD Dolphin Surfs bought in this color. If you are wanting to buy this car in a premium color like this one, or there's a blue version or a white color as well, then you're going to be paying around £650 extra. But I do think it does look pretty cool. And to be fair, I do actually like the car in the lime green color as well. Now let's start by talking around some of the exterior features, because we'll start over here at the front, because over here you can see in this version of the car, this is the top spec Comfort version, you've got LED headlights. In the Boost or the Active version of the car, you don't get LED headlights, you get halogen headlights. But I think they look really nice over here. And then you can see the rest of the front area here, this bonnet, which is not really that large. You don't get a front parking sensor in this car at all. I'll talk a little bit more about that when I take you inside the car. Let's start moving towards the side of the car, because over here, I want to talk about these wheels to begin with. Now, these alloy wheels are 16 inches in this Comfort version. You get 16 inches in the Comfort and in the Boost version, but in the entry level active version, they're 15 inches. And I do think they look pretty nice with this cool design. They're a slightly different design in the comfort version. I quite like these. They're good. As we come over here, I'm going to show you this wing mirror, because in the boost version of the car, so the mid-level upwards, you get electronically adjustable and electronically folding wing mirrors. But in this comfort version, you also get a floodlight that comes out of the wing mirrors as well. So I think that's really quite cool. As we come further towards the side of the car, I'll show you some of the dimensions of this car, because obviously it's a small car, it's a city car, it's an urban car. This car is 399 centimeters long, so it's not a big car, and that's really quite good. A wheelbase of around 2.5 meters. So that means that inside the car, there should be a decent amount of legroom, because that's the sort of wheelbase that you expect in cars that are bigger than this. In terms of width, it's 172 centimeters wide, so it's not a wide car, and I think that's really quite good, because it looks like it's been set up in such a way that it's perfect to drive around the city. It's narrow, you can easily get it into tight spaces. With the electric motor, you can accelerate in and out of traffic. It's quite nippy, it's got a really good turning circle as well. I think it's set up to be a really nice, fun, engaging city car. As we come towards the back of the car, I want to show you this area over here. This is inspired, this pattern over here is inspired by ice crystals over here, this dot matrix that you've got. But crucially, why that's there is to split the roof area and the body of the car, to split that so you can get this floating roofline effect. Now, in this particular version of the car, this black version, you can't really get a sense of that too well. But I do quite like that. It reminds me of cars like the Cupra Born. They've got a similar thing. And as you go further towards the back of the car, you can see this large spoiler area over here, which extends out from the back of the car. And there's a tail light in there as well. You can see BYD lettering down here, and it says BYD Dolphin Surf over here as well. Nice, chunky rear bumper over here. In plastic, but I think it does suit the car really well. And the last thing that I want to mention is this floating light bar at the back, which goes end to end. And I think that's really quite good, because it gives the entire car a bit of width, a bit of stance back here. Let me show you the boot, because if I open the boot from here, back here, you've got a decent amount of boot space. How much boot space do you think it has? 100 liters? No. 200 liters? No. 300 liters. Yes, this car has over 300 liters, just slightly over 300 liters of boot space. And when you fold these seats down, which fold down with a 50-50 split, you can get over 1,000 liters of boot space. It's around 1,037 liters of boot space. And if you come closer, you can see inside here, you've got some space underneath here, which we've used to store the charging cables, but you can also use that space to put other stuff. So you get a decent amount of boot space in here. And I think overall that means that this car is, not only is it good value, I'll talk about the price later on, somewhat engaging to drive as well, but also quite practical. Let me show you the interior. So let me show you around the interior of the BYD Dolphin Surf, because if you thought there was a lot to talk about in the exterior, there's even more to talk about here in the interior. It's a really nicely put together interior, which reminds me a little bit of, obviously, the BYD Dolphin. Think of the BYD Dolphin just all compacted down into the smaller size. You've still got similar kind of switches as that car. You've still got the same sort of rotating screen that you get in BYD vehicles, which you can use to the button on the steering wheel to turn, or you can use the button on the screen, except this time it's 10.1 inches. It's slightly smaller. But let me tell you about the rest of the cabin, and I'm going to start with these seats, because these seats, regardless of which version of the car you go for, you get vegan leather seats. And I think they are really quite comfortable. You don't necessarily get leather seats in other cars in this class. We're talking cars like the Renault 5 and the Hyundai Insta. You get fabric seats for cars like that, whereas here you get these vegan leather seats. And I think they do support you really well. You can see a slight curvature here in the back of the seat, and I think that's quite nice, because the points of contact are like your shoulder blades, and so it holds you really well into place. But the bottom over here, your lower back isn't squeezed. You're not squeezed at the gut. You're sort of supported at the shoulder blades. Well, at least I am. I'm 5'11". But also, I wish there was a bit better lumbar support in this car, but otherwise, I can't really complain too much about the seats. They're really comfortable, nice and cushiony. I do really quite like the seats in BYD vehicles. They are usually really comfortable. So that's quite good. Let me show you the steering wheel over here. The steering wheel in front of you, which you might remember, it looks quite similar to the steering wheel in the BYD Dolphin. Again, you see this car is just a smaller version of the Dolphin. I quite like the steering wheel. It's a nice and easy to hold, although there has been one particular moment where as I was turning the car, I lost a bit of grip of the steering wheel and it sort of slid away. But other than that, generally, no problems with it. And I quite like these, you see these physical buttons on the steering wheel? I quite like how they're sort of sunken into the steering wheel a little bit. So it means that when you hold the steering wheel here, you're not going to accidentally press these buttons or change the volume. That's really quite convenient. Whether BYD did that on purpose or not, I don't know. Probably they did, but that's a really good feature of this car. Now, let me tell you about this infotainment system, because of course we have the 10.1 inch screen and it is usually quite good. It's you can see how responsive it is. It's got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all the features that you need. Now, let me show you with this screen. I want to show you the reversing camera, because in this top spec level of the car, you get a 360 degrees reversing camera. You also get just ordinary reversing cameras in the Boost and the Active version, but in the Comfort version, you get this 360 degrees camera. What you also get in this particular, what you don't get in any of the cars is a front parking sensors. So in the Active and the Boost version, you get rear parking sensors and rear facing camera, and in the Comfort version, you get rear sensors and a 360 degrees camera. So that is worth noting. Something else that you only get in the Comfort version are heated seats at the front over here. In the Boost version and the Comfort version, so the middle spec and the top spec, you get electronically adjustable front seats, but in the top spec, you get heated seats. And you might just be able to see just over my shoulder, you've got privacy glass at the back. You get that in the Comfort version as well, the top spec. But I'll tell you a little bit more about that when I show you the rear cabin. Let's go down here to these switches over here, where you'll see these switches are generally the same as you will find in the Dolphin. You can change your volume using this one, and they just sort of flick on and off, off and on like this. You can either flick them upwards or flick them downwards. It seems like it does the same thing either way. One thing I don't like about this is you can't change the climate control easily from here. What you have to do is you have to sort of, if you do that, it just turns the climate control either on or off. And if you do that, again, it does it the other way. If you want to set your climate control in terms of how much the fan speed, you have to physically press this shortcut at the bottom of the screen. Another thing which I don't like about this car is the climate, the function, right? The heater or the AC, you can either put it on your face, your face and your feet, but you can't put it on the windscreen and your face and your feet. You can't put it on all three at once. You can only put it on these two at the same time. But if you put it out of the front, out on the windscreen, you can't have AC on your face, for example. So cancel. So you see, another thing about this car is that BYD system, the voice control. You can say, "Hi BYD, open the driver window." Oh, okay, there you go. That's something which I didn't cancel. Right. That's something which I didn't actually know. In other BYD vehicles, I've been able to open the windows using that system. It seems you can't do that here. Let's try something else. Hi BYD. Hello. Put the fan speed down by 2. Okay, I've decreased fan speed by 2. There you go. It's done it. Thank you. Cancel. Let's get rid of that. But there you go. So that's another way that you can control the air conditioning or the heating just by using the voice recognition system. That's pretty good. I do have to mention this center console area over here. You get cup holders over here. The back cup holder is slightly smaller than the front one, so if you do need to squeeze a bottle in there, it's really good. Over here at the front, you've got this wireless phone charger. Now, again, you only get that in the comfort version of the car. So if you are looking to get the active version or the boost version, you don't get that. But what you do get in all versions of the car are these USB slots over here. So you've got USB-C, you've got USB Type A, you've got 12-volt socket over here. It's really quite convenient. And you've got storage down here as well. You can store stuff over here. So BYD say that around the car there's 20 little storage areas, whether that's cup holders or storage down here or in the door bins or in the glove box or wherever. There's loads of areas to store things in the car, so I think that's really quite good. Overall, then, I think the interior of this car is really quite nice. I think what they've done is they've taken the BYD Dolphin and they've just condensed it down into a pint-sized version of the car, and I think it does look really well put together. It feels quite refined. There are little things like the air vents over here on the BYD Dolphin that you don't get, and you don't get a little area just above these switches to store stuff. But I'll tell you one thing, I do quite like these air vents over here. Look at the design of these air vents. I mean, I know they can get a bit dusty, but I think they look really good. And then you've got all these other, oh wow, there's a wasp in here now. Oh, there we go, crisis averted. This car is not immune to wasps, especially if you've got the passenger door open. Anyway, I'll just finish this section by saying, yeah, you've got air vents over here, and I think they just fit in nicely with this whole interior scheme. So I think overall, really quite good. Let me show you the rear seats in the rear cabin. The first thing to note back here in the rear cabin is there's only two seats. You can see there's no middle seat. You can see, especially here with the seatbelt clips, there's only two seats. And so if you are gonna clip that seatbelt in, you clip it into the middle over here. Now, the good thing about it being two seats is there's plenty of space back here for two passengers to actually sit and spread out quite widely. I think that's really quite good. Could you have squeezed the third passenger in here? Yes, but I think it would have been really, really snug. So I think good decision that there's only two seats. But if you are buying this car and you have 3 children and there's a couple with 3 children and there's 5 of you all together, that might be a bit of an issue. But otherwise, I think back here, plenty of room. Talking about room, leg room. Look at the amount of leg room that I've got over here as well. Decent amount of leg room. I can slouch down a little bit. I can move my feet over here to the middle as well, because there's no transmission tunnel in the middle. So I think that's really quite good. Headroom back here is a little bit less than you would expect in the front as well, because in the front the roof seems to be slightly higher, but back here there's a little bit more headroom, and I think that's really good. In terms of light, there's not a lot of light back here, so that's one thing that you need to know. And also these door sills or these window sills over here are quite high, so children won't necessarily be able to see out really well. And then on top of that, in this top spec level, you've got the privacy glass as well. So yes, do be aware that there isn't a lot of light back here. But one thing that you do get is you get some storage back here. You got storage down here, so you can just put a lot of stuff in there. Might rattle around because it's plastic, but yeah. And then you've got storage behind the seats as well. So that's really quite convenient. So overall, I think the rear cabin isn't a bad place to be in terms of space, in terms of comfort, but I do think some things could have been done slightly differently, like the amount of light coming in. Yeah. Otherwise, I think, you know, what you get back here for the price of this car is pretty good. Now, before I end this video, let me tell you about the price of this car, because you can get this car in, like I said, the 3 different versions: the active, the boost, or the comfort. If you go for the active version, it starts at around £18,500, which is really good value. And then if you go one step further to the boost version of the car, then it comes in at around £22,000. And then for only £2,000 more, at around £24,000, you can get the comfort version of this car, the top spec version, 115 kilowatts of power, which is, I don't know, around 150, 160 horsepower. You've got around, you've got 193 miles of range. Now, you do have to bear in mind that 193 miles of range that has been quoted is just if you're driving normally. If you drive just in the city, so not a mixture of, you know, that's not combined, that's just in the city, you can expect more than that. In the boost version of the car, you can expect up to around 300 miles. I've been driving this car for a couple of days and I've been averaging around 4.7 4.7 miles per kilowatt hour. Now, I feel like I can achieve 4 miles per kilowatt hour without even trying, just by driving as uneconomically as I can, and I've been averaging 4.7. So simple maths, if you take that 43.2 kilowatt hour battery and you times that by 4.7, we're talking just slightly over 200 miles of range on a full charge. So it is possible to get more than the claim range, but of course that just depends on your commute, on the way that you drive. You can get less than that. Ultimately, it all comes down to whether this car is perfect for you, for your needs, for firstly for the value, the practicality. If you could charge it at home. Charging this car is really good as well because it's got the smaller 30 kilowatt hour battery or the 43.2 kilowatt hour battery. You can expect to charge the car from 10 to 80% in half an hour. You can charge this comfort version at 85 kilowatts, or you can charge the active version at 65 kilowatts. So it really doesn't take you that long to charge the car as well, because it's got the smaller batteries. That's really convenient. So ultimately, I think there are some bits of this car which I'm not a massive fan of, but generally I do quite like this car. It is quite exciting. I'll talk a little bit more about the way that it drives in another video. So if you are wanting to know how it drives, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Stay tuned. I'm going to talk a little bit about the suspension, particularly that torsion beam suspension at the rear of the car. And I'm going to be just talking about how this car feels in general. So thank you very much for watching. I hope that this video has provided you with a lot of insight. If you are wanting to buy this car, let me know in the comments what you think about this car, and let me know whether you're interested in buying it or not, because I expect to see loads of these models on the road pretty soon. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.